Everyone, I think we're just about ready. We'll give the 2-3 minute warning right now. Thank you. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests. I'm Captain Evan Peterson, Academy Commander of the Ben Clark Training Center. I'd like to welcome you to this evening's graduation of the Riverside County Sheriff's Department Basic Peace Officer Academy, Class 212. Tonight represents the payoff for the hard work and dedication put forth by each of the recruits. I would now like to acknowledge the Academy staff who have worked so hard with this class. From the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, from right to left, Sergeant Miguel Ramos. Master Investigator Tim Cleary. Investigator Vince Munoz. Deputy Christina Pearson. And Deputy Evan Stavnis. Thank you, TAC staff, for your hard work and dedication. I'm sure all of you are wondering what your loved ones have been actually doing specifically over the last 6 months. I can assure you each of them put in a heck of a lot of hard work and maybe even had a little bit of fun in our eyes, I recognize, sometimes. Class 212 prepared a video to show you some of the highlights of their training. We hope you enjoy watching the video as much as they enjoyed making it. If we could please roll the class video.
being detained.
We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning. It looks something like this.
This time it ain't a game, yeah. MJ with the 6 range, yeah. Y'all better switch out your plays, yeah. On fire with the little flame, yeah.
This time it ain't a game, yeah. LeBron James coming through the lane, yeah. Y'all better switch out your plays, yeah. On fire with the little flame, yeah.
This time it ain't a game, yeah. I'm MJ with the 6 range, yeah. Y'all better switch out your plays, yeah. On fire with the little flame, yeah.
This time it ain't a game, yeah. LeBron James coming through the lane, yeah. Y'all better switch out your plays, yeah. On fire with the little flame, yeah. Coach said it's my turn, yeah. The game on the line. I don't play about money. On sight. I'm pulling up from half court every time. Yeah, you popping online, but all you popping in life. Oh yeah, I'm living. They keep my name and name out like a dentist. I'm trying to crush all that hate and division. They used to sleep on me, now see the vision. We do not come in, don't want your opinion. I ain't lived this kind of life in a minute. Let's see the goal and I'm focused on living. Y'all not sorry if you are offended. I'm on the chain, I'm loose. Big dog, big dog, big dog, big dog. You need to worry about you and let me do what I do. Glory to God, look what he done. RMG, you got the right one. Our situation is a tight one. What you gonna do? Fight or run?
Hey, Mark, what are you doing? Oh, right there, that guy! I just saw my wallet!
To the sound of a heartbeat pounding away. To the rhythm of the awful rusting machines. We toss and turn but don't sleep. Each breath we take makes us thieves. Like ghosts without rebels. Just talk but when there's nothing else. We crawl on our knees to you. Under a sky not on the blue. We sway all day long for you. We so cease to see us through. 'Cause sometimes dreams just don't come true. We wait to reap what we are due.
If you love somebody, better tell them why they're here, 'cause they just may run away from you. You'll never know quite when, well, then again it just depends on how long the time is left for you. I've had the highest mountains, I've had the deepest rivers. You can have it all, but life keeps moving. I'll take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now. Paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, eh? Been holding it for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm
Stepped out of my zone. I had to get out of the lung and figure it out on my own. And I know what I really want now. Can't stop me, can't break me. But don't kill me, gon' make me. Shoot for the stars, no safety. And now I see clear in HD. Gotta go hard, gotta go hard. I ain't got time to waste. I ain't got time. I gotta go high, gotta go high. I gotta elevate, I gotta elevate. They wanna fight, they wanna fight. I'm just gonna let them hate. I'm just gonna let them hate. I gotta go high, gotta go high. I gotta elevate, I gotta elevate. You gotta choose a side, you gotta choose a side. You gotta pick, you gotta do what's right. Or you gonna lose the fight. You gotta choose a side, you gotta choose a side. You gotta pick, you gotta do what's right. Or you gotta lose the fight.
I'm a rap slinger, so a gunslinger, no millimeter. This is my arena. I'm the black widow with a bad stinger, and I make you scream like.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do we know the names? We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease. In the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring it to your knees? I wanna watch you bleed. Welcome to the jungle. We take it day by day. If you wanna choke on the bleed, but it's the price you pay. And you're a very sexy girl. It's very hard to please. You can taste the bright lights, but you won't get them for free. In the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Feel my serpentine. I wanna hear you scream.
They absolutely knocked it out of the park with that video. If all of you could please stand and welcome Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Basic Academy, Class 212. Sergeant Ramos, please present your class. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation, presentation of colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, and National Anthem. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage Chaplain Thimba Mazizi of the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, who will lead us in this evening's invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we gather in this sanctuary to witness the graduation of these officers. I pray for their special anointing as they take the oath to protect the citizens of this county. As their motto states, these graduates have been forged by fire, sharpened through discipline, and protected from the claws of COVID-19 pandemic. Lord, I pray that you would now bless them with success in their law enforcement career. Lord, I pray that you would give them eyes to see above and beyond the stumbling blocks and the resistances that come their way. May their faith, family, physical and moral fitness be a shield of protection and comfort as they selflessly serve the interests of others above their own. I pray that they will return safely to their loved ones at the end of each shift until the day of their retirement. At the end of their law enforcement career, like Paul in the Bible, may they be able to say, they have fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith. In your holy name I pray, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. While presenting the flag of the United States and during the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem, it is appropriate and lawful that all citizens stand and place their right hand over their heart while facing the flag. Those in uniform, in compliance with federal law and in grateful honor for what the flag represents, are to render a military salute and remain silent. Uniform personnel, when the color guard gives the command, "Present arms," please render the appropriate salute during the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem. After the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem, the color guard will give you the command, "Order arms," at which time you may stop saluting. Those in civilian attire can remove their hand from their heart at that time. Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be Moreno Valley College Dean of Instruction, School of Public Safety, Philip Rawlings. Singing the National Anthem this evening will be Riverside County Sheriff's Department 911 Communications Officer Becky McIntyre.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Dean Rawlings, Ms. McIntyre, and Sheriff's Color Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Class 212, take your seats. At this time, I'd like to introduce our honored guests and ask them to please stand as I read their names. From the Imperial County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Raymond Loera. From the San Bernardino Police Department, Chief of Police David Green. From the Indio Police Department, Chief Mike Washburn. From the Riverside Sheriff's Association, President Bill Young. From the Moreno Valley College, Dean of Instruction for Public Safety, Phil Rawlings. From the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Chad Bianco. Assistant Sheriff Donald Sharp. Assistant Sheriff Robert Gunzel. Assistant Sheriff Edward Delgado. Chief Deputy David Lulliver. Chief Deputy Joseph Pemberton. Chief Deputy Joseph Belli. Chief Deputy Matt Jimenez. Correctional Chief Deputy James Kratchmer. And Correctional Chief Deputy Misha Graves. Thank you very much for your attendance this evening. This graduation is the culmination of 26 weeks of intensive training that included over 1,000 hours of instruction. The recruits seated before you have been instructed in the areas of criminal law, community policing, patrol techniques, physical fitness, defense tactics, and firearms. To make the formal presentation of the 212th Basic Academy, I would like to introduce Sergeant Miguel Ramos from the Riverside Sheriff's Department. Sergeant Ramos is the Academy's basic course coordinator. Throughout the Academy, the course coordinator becomes a tutor, disciplinarian, and mentor to our recruits. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Sergeant Miguel Ramos.
Thank you, Captain Peterson, and good evening, everyone. It's an exciting evening today for Class 212. I can assure you success in the Basic Academy is only achieved through preparation, commitment, and perseverance. It is extremely important that each recruit entering the Academy do their best to be present on a daily basis, which is not an easy task considering sickness and injuries are both constant possibilities. Therefore, the Academy staff would like to thank these recruits for their hard work and dedication. We also appreciate those recruits who volunteered for class committees and various other details. Also, along with Class 212, I would like to thank you, the family members and friends, for your patience, understanding, and most importantly, the support you gave your loved ones throughout this journey. Let's give the family and friends a round of applause. Law enforcement is a rewarding and challenging career. Many dedicated men and women have paid the ultimate price while serving their communities. Nonetheless, before anyone can be entrusted with this awesome privilege, the road starts here with the Basic Academy. During the past 26 weeks, bodies have strengthened, maturity has emerged, minds are more focused, self-reliance has grown, and the bond of this profession has been created. The Riverside County Sheriff's Academy demands a standard of excellence. We accomplish this with structured discipline and implementing stress tolerance, thereby equipping each recruit with the ability to perform under demanding conditions and to carry out their duties with a newfound level of enthusiasm. So I say with confidence that the recruits in this class have developed the necessary leadership skills to succeed as law enforcement officers. During their time in the Academy, recruits from Class 212 had the chance to experience the satisfaction and fulfillment that comes along with serving their community and volunteering their time for a worthy cause. On June 26, 2021, Imperial County Sheriff's Department lost a deputy sheriff to an on-duty vehicle collision. The Imperial County Sheriff's Department is a very important piece of this academy, and Deputy Anthony Redondo's death affected this academy. To show their support, Class 212 raised and donated $1,000 to Deputy Redondo's family. On July 12, 2021, Class 212 came together, united as one, and got involved in community service on their day off. On that day, Class 212 helped deep clean the inside and outside of the Riverside Youth Judo Club in the city of Riverside. The Riverside Youth Judo Club is a nonprofit organization which specializes in teaching judo to at-risk children and children with special needs in this community. These are awesome examples of giving back to the community and helping a fallen officer's family. Now I think that's worthy of an applause. Let's give them a hand. During the initial planning phases for an academy, there are hundreds of applicants who apply. And there were 34 recruits selected to start the 212th Basic Academy. Over the course of the last 26 weeks, that number has reduced to the 29 recruits you see sitting here tonight. As I look at them here tonight and compare them to those recruits we saw on March 9th, it is very clear to me that you finally accepted the training. I'm extremely proud of this class and the accomplishments they have made during this academy. Nicely done, class. And with that said, Sheriff Bianco, department heads, and representatives of Moreno Valley College, it is my honor to hereby certify that the recruits of Basic Academy Class 212 have met all the requirements as set forth by the California Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training and by Moreno Valley College, and are therefore qualified to graduate. I would now like to introduce Class 212's class president, recruit Daniel Cardenas. Daniel is 31 years old and is employed by the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. He grew up in Rancho Cucamonga, California. He attended Altaloma High School, and he played hockey, both on ice and roller, since he was 6 years old, and he still plays today. After graduating high school, Daniel was accepted and enrolled at the University of California, Riverside, where he completed his bachelor's degree in business administration in 2012. After completing his degree, he held sales jobs, ultimately working for Aerotech, a national recruiting and staffing company where he focused within the aerospace and defense industry, hiring engineers. He supported this industry throughout the Inland Empire for 6 years until March of 2021, when he left Aerotech to pursue his dream of becoming a law enforcement officer. Daniel currently lives in Corona with his wife, Stephanie Cardenas, and his son, Ezra. In his free time, Daniel enjoys spending time with his family, reading, playing hockey, and working out with the Move Through Motivation organization. His integrity, leadership, and professionalism are without question, hereby affirming Class 212's decision to elect him as their class president. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Class President, recruit Daniel Cardenas.
Thank you, Sergeant Ramos. Good evening, family, friends, Sheriff Bianco, and distinguished guests. Thank you for being here today to celebrate the graduation of the Riverside County Sheriff's Department 212th Basic Academy. It is an honor to be speaking on behalf of my class today. Thank you, Class 212, for giving me this opportunity. All of you have shown leadership, self-sacrifice, and have dedicated yourselves to the success of this class, and any one of you could be up here delivering the speech. You have all made me a better person, both physically and mentally, in all facets of life. And as a quote states, iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another. I would also like to give a special thanks to our Vice President, Salvador Romo Jr., present and former squad leaders for their hard work and leadership as well. Before I speak on our journey, I would like to thank TAC staff, Sergeant Ramos, Master Investigator Cleary, Investigator Munoz, Deputy Pearson, and Deputy Stavnis for their leadership, dedication, and time. Every staff member is dedicated, knowledgeable, and professional, and this is what we aspire to be. We are honored to have spent 6 months with each of you. You really helped change our lives, and we are forever thankful. I would also like to thank all of the families and loved ones here today for supporting us throughout this journey. Without your love and support, this achievement would not be possible. Each and every one of you have made sacrifices of your own for us to earn this accomplishment. And I could speak for everyone here in that we are extremely grateful. Leading up to the academy, all we could think about was what to expect, and if we prepared enough for this journey we're about to embark on. Our journey began on March 9th, 2021, and it was time to forge our sword. The iron, us, had already been sourced by being selected into this academy by our respective departments, and now it was time to put the hammer to the iron. Reality set in as soon as we could hear the lights and sirens of the patrol cars rushing towards us out there in that dirt parking lot. Sergeant Ramos exited the vehicles with the rest of TAC staff using bullhorns, and it was then that we officially stepped into the fire. All you could hear was, "Front line arrest, move!" on your feet, high knees. You're all jacked up, and the heavy breathing and audible struggling coming from our class. The first week of the academy, I think we all questioned whether or not we had made the right decision. The desire from each of us was there, but I know I can speak for myself and that I wondered if I had what it took. Every day of the academy seemed to get harder, and we were constantly just trying to make it through each grinder session, or in other words, each hit of that hammer. Looking back, now I understand that we were becoming more disciplined for the journey ahead of us. We didn't have a senior class telling us that it would get easier or that everything would be okay, and I'm glad we didn't. Although we were far from really coming together as a class, the fact that we had to rely on one another to continue the push toward our shared dream, I believe, brought us closer together quicker than most classes. In week 3, we were introduced to the dirt grinder, which made the first month of the academy all the more intense. Week 3 felt very similar to day 1, rolling around in the dirt doing sit-ups, push-ups, flutter kicks, and burpees. The academy seemed to be getting harder the further we went along. More and more hits from the hammer were continuing to shape us. There are a few memorable times we all endured together. The snake of integrity. First Friday, bear crawling around the grinder, armor crawling around the dirt track, lunging to and from instead of running, the seemingly endless recalibration sessions with Investigator Munoz. Copy that, class? And of course, the will to survive. Eventually, as the academy went on, physical exercise did become easier, and the academics became easier too. But that was because we were adapting to life in the academy and buying into the program, as Master Investigator Cleary would say. We began to sharpen our sword. As a class, we started to work together as a team instead of a bunch of individuals, or IGMers, I got mines, and became a unified class. One of these memorable times was on July 14th during our EVOC lecture. TAC staff slammed open the door of the classroom, and we all shared that wide-eyed look of shock we became oh so familiar with. This event, however, was not one of retraining or atoning for mistakes made. This was a time to put out and wield the sword we had spent the last 19 weeks crafting. We carried logs around the grinder and in front of the admin building, doing overhead raises, sit-ups, and push-ups. We were breathing that fire. Hearing the class war cry and yelling out, "Get some!" I can say I've never been more motivated and proud to represent Class 212. Unfortunately, along the way, we lost some of our brothers and sisters going into some of our final weeks, and I want to ensure them that their hard work and sacrifice for this class is not forgotten. Along the journey, we have all become closer together. We have a bond that no one can break because of what we've been through the last 26 weeks. We have all made it through this academy and have forged our sword. This is something we should all be extremely proud of, but we all know victories are short-lived. It is time for us to forge a new sword within our law enforcement careers. All of us in Class 212 look forward to serving you, the people, with the absolute best service possible. I stand here humbled before you and offer you all my sincere thanks for taking the time to be here today. In closing, I would like to thank Sheriff Bianco again, TAC staff, DT staff, range staff, EVOC staff, instructors, role players, and everyone that dedicated their time and effort to us. Also, thank you to all the other men and women in uniform. We look forward to serving beside you in the future. Class 212, remember, forged by fire, sharpened through discipline. Hoorah!
Thank you, Recruit Cardenas. We're honored this evening to have as our keynote speaker Sheriff Raymond Loera from the Imperial Sheriff's Department. He is the 14th Sheriff of Imperial County, California, serves as the County Sheriff, Coroner, and Marshal. Sheriff Loera is assumed office in January of '07 and is serving his 4th consecutive term as Sheriff for Imperial County. He's a U.S. Army veteran, and this part took us as pretty much he had all of us in years across the stage when we were practicing today, that he's been in law enforcement for 47 years. Please welcome Sheriff Raymond Loera.
I had to get a little head start there because, I've been around for a long time and a little bit tired, but no, not really. I'm not even tired. I got to tell you, these kind of ceremonies really kind of get you excited about this career that kind of chose me. This is not part of the presentation, but When I got out of the Army, I didn't know what to do. The last thing that I ever thought that I was going to be in was law enforcement. Matter of fact, I probably spent most of my lifetime trying to avoid law enforcement instead. But 40-some years later, I've had such a great run, I can't complain. So, good evening to everyone. I'm glad to be here once more. I'm glad to be in this building with the pipes and the drums. That always gets you too. It's a big part of this ceremony. But actually, I expected a little bit more introduction, so I've got a little bit more stuff here. So let me just go from where I can start. But whenever I hear some kind of an introduction like that, it reminds me of some comments that I heard an actor make one time when he was being celebrated for his acting career, and they were showing all of the stuff that he'd done when he was young, and it kind of went through his further years. And he says, as I watched, I saw myself getting older and older and older. It made me feel like you were reading my obituary. So I hope that's not what this is, but certainly I appreciate the introduction. I want to thank Sheriff Bianco for the privilege of addressing this class, the graduating class. Although he is a great staff to choose from, and I've heard many of the presentations that they've given. One of the last ones I heard, and I understand he's retired since then, was a great presentation on the findings by Kevin Gilmartin, of which I've been a big fan for many years. And I hope that you as a class read what he found, his findings, and apply them to your career. And one in particular by the sheriff himself, where he challenged the class to see if in 20 years or so, they would still be able to fit in the uniform they were wearing on graduation night. I'm almost making it there, Sheriff. It's getting close, though. And those presentations will be hard acts to follow. But before I start my formal remarks, and don't worry, it's not as long as it looks. One of my chiefs told me that it's because it's just in the largest font I can get, and you can only put like 5 words on a page, so that's just a fact of life, you know. So before I get started, I want to again recognize some of the very important people, and those are the people that are sitting in the audience. It was mentioned before by your class president, the parents, the spouses, brothers, sisters, significant others, and friends and supporters of the graduates. Without your support, and you got to believe this, without your support, their journey wouldn't have been possible, or at least it would have been much, much more difficult. And not only that, but they will need your continued support throughout their careers. I certainly would not be where I am if I didn't have the support of my family and friends. And so if it's not too much out of line, I'm going to ask the class to do something for me. I would like the graduates to please stand. Stand. And I'd like for you to give a big round of applause to the people that supported you through this process. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much. You may be seated. I'd ask you to yell because I know that's what they're going to do throughout the presentations, but thank you very much. So I'd like to be very candid with you. As I am coming to the end of my law enforcement career, I'm a little jealous and envious of you who are sitting on this stage. If I could do it all over again, I would do it without hesitation. But as my chief was telling me, and I can't see very well, and I can't stay awake past 8:30 anymore, so that'd probably be a detriment. You are at what will be one of the greatest nights of your lives. the beginning of your law enforcement career. Now, I know that there are many out there who are saying to themselves, what the heck is this crazy sheriff talking about? He has definitely been in the desert for way, way too long. With all the talk of, all the negative talk, the negative press, calls for defunding the police, phone videos, it goes on and on and on. But I'd like you to give me an opportunity to plead my case. First, as it's been repeated over and over, let me say that I've been in this profession for a long time, probably longer than anyone on this stage has been alive. And I understand that maybe even in the executive staff included. I'm going to really date myself, but I was around during Woodstock, the Vietnam War. Oh, you don't have to say it like that, huh? Some good music came out of there. The Vietnam War served as a perimeter security for President Nixon's inauguration with the 82nd Airborne Division, the LA riots, and closer to home, the lettuce and grape strikes. The reason I tell you this is because these were extremely volatile and dangerous times for law enforcement and the communities that we serve. Society was changing. Law enforcement changed with it, and we became stronger in the process. It wasn't easy or pleasant, but we did change. A Greek philosopher said, "The only constant in life is change." Change affects us all, and we each deal with change differently. The only constant in life, the only thing we can be sure will happen. To expect change has brought us hope during challenging or unexpected life events. This same thought has also brought us fear in situations where the last thing we want is change. I've come to realize it's not the circumstances or changes that dictate how my life will go, but rather how I handle those changes and disruptions. No matter the change we experience, how we embrace that change will forever impact how we are able to live with the change. As mentioned earlier, it's been a few months now that we at the Sheriff's Office lost a deputy sheriff in a terrible traffic accident. I bring this to your attention because I was overwhelmed by the response from the public. I expected a strong response from law enforcement and public safety agencies, but I felt an overpowering sense of pride in my profession by letters, cards, gifts being sent by ordinary citizens. And I read every one of those. They came throughout the United States, Europe, and other countries. It reinforced my faith that we are doing things right, and people are able to see through all the noise. Now is the time to embrace these changes. As a new law enforcement officer, I remember as if it were yesterday, walking into my first roll call. All the veterans were seated in their designated places, and woe be it to the rookie who dared to sit in the wrong place. There was a low-hanging cloud of cigarette smoke in the room. Times change, and no one spoke to the new guy. They could not believe that anyone from my generation could become a real cop, and that the profession as they knew it was at an end. And in a sense, it was, as far as I'm concerned, for the better. The good news is that the men and women sitting on this stage may be greeted in a similar manner, but I can guarantee that they are intelligent, motivated, and the most highly trained officers anywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, this generation and every generation that follows is different and will continue to be different. I expect that 20 years from now, some in this group sitting on this very stage will look at the rookie walking in the back door and think, the profession is coming to an end. Hopefully, there won't be too many of those. But taking one of my favorite movie quotes, we as leaders and you will become leaders, must always adapt and overcome. I have absolute confidence the law enforcement profession is in good hands for the future. The only constant is change. Tomorrow is just the beginning, and you have been in a controlled environment, and there can be no do-overs when you go out onto the streets. When you wake up tomorrow and report for your first shift, the work begins. You will be working with the most complex life form on the planet, human beings. You can't hit the reset button, and some of your decisions can have life and death results. Don't become complacent and comfortable. That is what is so important about the studies by Kevin Gilmartin, and quite frankly, the challenge by the sheriff to stay healthy. The most important advice I can provide is that you have interests outside this profession, because this profession will consume you. At the end of this ceremony, you will recite the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. As a matter of fact, I was here a little bit earlier and I heard you guys practicing it, so I know that you know it. During your career, you will be responsible for volumes and volumes of policy, directives, memos instructing you in every aspect of your new career. Unfortunately, these are necessary for organizations because there are some out there who don't know that they have to be at work on time or what color of socks are appropriate to wear with a Class A uniform. However, if you want to be successful in this career, just read the Code of Ethics every day before you go to work. Don't just memorize it for tonight's ceremony and forget it. This simple but valuable code will serve as your guide to being the best law enforcement officer you can be. I believe that if we all followed the Code of Ethics, we could do away with 3/4 of our policies. So I'll end my remarks with this. Above my desk at home and in my office, I have the following from Theodore Roosevelt. It's called The Man in the Arena. It is not the critic that counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on your achievement. I hope you take everything you have learned and have long and successful careers. And finally, welcome to the arena. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. We will now conduct the badge pinning ceremony and issue the Academy diplomas to the graduates. We invite you to celebrate your loved ones' accomplishments. Feel free to applaud and cheer. Let them know you're out there and proud of them. I would like to invite the family members of each of our graduates to come forward and take photographs during this portion of the ceremony. You may come right up to the front of the stage when your family member is being pinned. I just ask you to wait and stand to the side as others will be coming to do the same, and my staff will be there to assist you. After you've taken your pictures, please return to your seats so we can have room for the next. If you're pinning the badge on a recruit, please make your way to the stairs at my right, your left at this time. If I could also have Moreno Valley College, Dean Rawlings, back to the stage, to present the Academy diplomas to the recruits. Sheriff Loera, you're up first, sir. Yep. Up first on the evening, Deputy Alfredo Figueroa. Pinning the badge on Deputy Figueroa will be his mentor, Sergeant Jose Coronado of the Imperial County Sheriff's Department. Deputy Jorge Rodriguez. Pinning the badge on Deputy Rodriguez will be his cousin, Officer Armando Rodriguez of the El Cajon Police Department. Deputy Rogelio Tafoya. Up next, the Indio Police Department. Making the badge presentation will be Chief of Police Mike Washburn. We have Officer Juan Fuentes. Officer Brittany Salazar. Thank you, Chief. Up next, the San Bernardino Police Department. The badge presentation will be by Chief of Police David Green. Officer Parker Anderson. Officer Brian De La Cruz. Pinning the badge will be his mentor, Officer Paul Nunez of the San Bernardino Police Department. Officer Carla Gutierrez. Officer Lewis Lim. Pinning the badge on Officer Lim will be his cousin, Officer Jimmy Gov of the LA Police Department. Officer Jose Magdaleno. Thank you, Chief. Up next, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Making the badge presentation will be our Sheriff, Chad Bianco. Up first, we have Deputy Mahmoud Badewi. Deputy Ishmael Bermudez. Deputy Chase Camacho. Deputy Richard Cantu. Deputy Daniel Cardenas. Deputy Alexis Cruz. Pinning the badge on Deputy Cruz will be his sister, Officer Melissa Gutierrez of the Corona Police Department. Thank you. Deputy Abigail Grieve. Pinning the badge will be her father, retired Senior Officer Robert Grieve of the California Highway Patrol. Thanks, Robert. Deputy Brandon Helsley. Pinning the badge on Deputy Helsley will be his grandfather, Deputy Jerry Grip of the Riverside Sheriff's Department. Deputy Andy Ledesma. Pinning the badge on Deputy Ledesma will be his mentor, TAC Staff Sergeant Ramos of the Riverside Sheriff's Department. Deputy Carlos Lucas. Pinning the badge will be his mentor, Officer Gil Onaveros of the California Highway Patrol. Deputy Cody Mayer. Deputy Enrique Ramirez, Jr. Deputy Salvador Romo, Jr. Deputy Ryan Schock. Deputy Richard Schweitzer. Deputy Jashawn Simmons. Deputy Alyssa Smith. Pinning the badge on Deputy Smith will be her aunt, Lieutenant Michelle Mahan of the San Bernardino Police Department. Deputy Joel Viscara. Pinning the badge on Deputy Viscara will be his mentor, Sergeant Ramos. And lastly, Deputy Travis Walter. We would now like to present the Academy Specialty Awards. The Academy very appropriately acknowledges superior achievement within the class. Our special awards are presented for the top recruits in the areas of academics, physical training, scenario testing, report writing, firearms, and top overall. First award. This is the one that always gets the recruits excited. The top academic performer. They had an outstanding average of 94.08 over the 6 months. This was accomplished by excelling in all 4 of the very extensive written exams. Receiving this award tonight from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Deputy Travis Walter. Next award, top physical fitness. This recruit posted a perfect 100% during the Academy's training and testing cycles. Receiving the top physical fitness award tonight, also from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Deputy Andy Ledesma. Next award, top scenario testing. This one involves real life situations that we put them in with live role players. It's always very hard for us. This recruit was excellent, posting an overall of 99.69. We almost want to ask who that was that actually minused 1 point. It's unbelievable to me. Receiving the top scenario award from the San Bernardino Police Department, Officer Parker Anderson. Top report writer. We obviously teach them that the writing is extensive, and this person had a perfect score throughout the academy. They were able to maintain 100%. The top report writer tonight from the Riverside Sheriff's Department, Deputy Alyssa Smith. Next award, Top Gun, firearms training. This recruit had a combined firearms score with handgun and shotgun of 99.3%. Receiving that award, the San Bernardino Police Department, Officer Lewis Lim. Top overall achievement. This is awarded to the recruit with the highest average combined scores in academics, physical training, scenario testing, firearms, and report writing. Really tough to maintain for over the course of, obviously, these 6 months. This person did an outstanding job and was highly thought of by all of us. With an overall score of 96.5%. From the Riverside Sheriff's Department, Deputy Daniel Cardenas. Next award is presented on behalf of the California Academy Directors Association, or CADA. This association represents the 39 basic peace officer academies throughout the state of California. CADA believes it's important to acknowledge an academy recruit in each class who has an inspirational role in developing and shaping other recruits, one who sets high standards and is an example for others to follow. Making this award even more distinctive is the fact the recipient is nominated by the recruits themselves. Receiving the Cato Award tonight for the 212th Basic Academy from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Deputy Ryan Schock. Our last award of the evening, one that's near and dear to all of us on my agency, the James B. Evans Award On May 9, 1980, Deputy Evans responded with numerous other local law enforcement officers to the now infamous Norco bank robbery incident. It took place at the Security Pacific Bank in Norco. During an ensuing vehicle pursuit and exchange of gunfire with multiple robbery suspects, Deputy Evans was fatally wounded from hostile gunfire. At the time of his death, Deputy Evans held a bachelor's degree from Cal Baptist and had completed all of the academic requirements for a master's in business administration from the University of Southern California. He was scheduled to graduate, in fact, the following month. Deputy Evans worked diligently to achieve his educational goals because he understood the importance of higher education with regard to law enforcement, as well as personal career development. Based on the foregoing, it was appropriate that the award be established to honor and pay tribute to the deputy in memory of James B. Evans for his service and sacrifice to our nation and the community. At the same time, furthering the core belief of higher education as a means to advance the overall effectiveness of our law enforcement profession. The Deputy James B. Evans Academic Achievement Award, which includes a $1,000 scholarship, is awarded to an Academy graduate who has received the highest academic score in his or her graduating Academy class and has committed within 6 months to enroll in a qualified undergraduate or graduate degree program. Presenting the award this evening is the president of the Riverside Sheriff's Association, Bill Young. The James B. Evans Academic Achievement Award for the 212th Basic Academy is presented to Riverside County Sheriff's Deputy Travis Walter. Everyone, if we could get all of them a great round of applause. Congratulations. That's a long time coming, 212. We know. It's a long time coming. Really well done. If I could have back Miss Becky McIntyre, and if we can welcome her to sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Ms. McIntyre. The state of California requires that each recruit take an oath to support the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. The recruits of the 212th have memorized this code. We invite all sworn personnel in the audience to stand and reaffirm the Code of Ethics with the graduates. Leading Class 212 in the Code of Ethics this evening will be Academy Coordinator, Sergeant Miguel Ramos. Thank you. You may be seated. As we close tonight's ceremony, I'd like to thank Chaplain Mazizi and the members of our Color Guard, which was made up of peace officers from the Riverside Sheriff's Department. I'd also like to thank the Riverside Community College District Moreno Valley administrative staff for their continued support of our program. The Academy staff would sincerely thank all the families of the 212 for your participation in not just today's activities, but overall supporting them the last 26 weeks. Without your support, this process would have been certainly much more difficult, if not impossible. I'd like to thank the University of California Riverside Pipe Band for their appearance this evening. The tradition of piping and drumming began on the battlefields of Ireland and Scotland to lead soldiers into battle. Today, this tradition has been continued in ceremonies honoring peace officers as they fight the good fight against crime in our communities. Finally, congratulations to the graduates of Class 212 for their dedication and hard work. It's very obvious to all of us, it has certainly paid off. Ladies and gentlemen, our staff, this concludes the ceremony. Please allow me the time for the graduates to exit and welcome them outside. For families and friends of the graduating Riverside Sheriff's Department members, your loved ones will immediately return to the stage where Sheriff Bianco will conduct the swearing-in ceremony. You're invited to remain in the auditorium for this event. Sergeant Ramos, you may now dismiss your class.